Welcome back. Well, the 6th Green Youth Indaba commemorates Youth Month by hosting its annual free entry Indaba. Now, this year's theme, Sustainable Development and Youth Unemployment Through Green Skills. It takes place in Pretoria on the 18th and 19th of June. The Indaba is a program of the Green Youth Network, NPC. Sanele Zulu is the CEO of the Green Youth Network, and he joins us now live in studio. Sanele, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're more than welcome to discuss these important issues. Environment, extremely important, but draw the link between youth, environment, and when we say green skills, what are we talking about?
So basically, you would understand that there's a lot of pollution that's happening around the world, you know, and there's a lot of pollution, and what happens is that whenever there's emissions, these emissions go up into the clouds or into the atmosphere, into the ozone, and they create some warmth in the atmosphere. But how that links up to youth is that young people have not been aware of the opportunities, or even that as a problem, you know, to say there's something called climate change that's happening every day. As we speak here, as I was driving here, I was actually also basically contributing towards climate change or pollution, you know. So what's critical, I think, for us is that young people must be aware, first of all, to say that there is something called climate change. There is something called pollution, you know, whether it's plastic pollution, whether it's water pollution. You know, you look at the ocean now, that there's a statistic that came out that South Africa now is becoming, Africa is becoming a dump site, you know, through the ocean. You know, that China does not know what to do with their plastics now, so therefore they just dump them in the ocean, and that dump basically comes to us. So we need to do something about it, or else we'll stop going to the beach.
Look, exactly. I mean, when we talk about climate change, we're talking about, you know, many scientists will agree that global warming is an existential threat to the earth. You have something in terms of your Youth Indaba. One of the topics being discussed is youth employment and opportunities and challenges posed by transitioning into this green economy, so-called green economy. When we talk about green economy, what are we talking about?
So basically, I think first of all, the reason why this year we thought let's talk about how do we eradicate youth unemployment through green skills is basically to say, first of all, I believe that young people must start looking for problems anywhere where there's problems, because there's no longer jobs. You know, the truth is there's no longer jobs. What we do then as the Green Youth Network is to challenge young people to say, if there's no jobs, you cannot sit at home and wait for jobs. You better start creating jobs. And one of the ways to create jobs is to basically look for problems. I say to young people that go around your community and look for problems. And one of the problems that you'll realize that pollution is one of the problems. You know, you'll find a lot of plastics, and we've got in our network a lot of young people that are living and surviving through recycling, for example. You know, they're making a living. Others have actually become millionaires through recycling. But other people, when they see a person collecting tires, cleaning up the streets, and recycling paper boxes, they think actually they're crazy. But in actual fact, they're creating jobs, because those people also have created jobs, not only for themselves, but for others. So our challenge as the Youth Network is to say, look for problems that are pertaining to air pollution, you know, to climate change. And out of those problems, how do we come up with solutions that can create jobs, not only for us as young people, but for also other young people around our community?
So it's in its simplest expression, the green economy means what? Low carbon, resource efficient, as well as socially inclusive. Talk to us about some of the opportunities, but more importantly, some of the challenges when transitioning into this green economy. A lot of investment is needed in terms of resources. Is there money to be made here?
I think, first of all, I think as young people, what I've learned over the years is that there's not much political will, especially when the focus has to be on youth development. You know, it's easy when they talk in Parliament about the green economy, but once you talk about young people and the green economy, it's a different topic altogether for me, because of course young people need opportunities, you know, because there's young people that come up with great innovations, but unless the government is willing to procure from these young people, you know, that innovation is as good as dead. You know, so for us, we're trying then to lobby government to say, we have young people that come up with great innovations, but can you open up doors for them to say you make supply chain much easier for them to enter? So for example, I'll make an example with a guy who came up with a solar system that rotates around the building. You know, as the sun moves, it also moves. But for that innovation to work, someone from the Department of Public Works, for example, would have to give this young person an opportunity to say, you can install this solar in our building. So for me, I think the biggest challenge is political will, one, Two, it's the funding that has to support these young people, because at some stage it's an idea. I mean, I was in Durban recently, so we went around the country looking for these innovative solutions.
Yeah.
One of the young guys there comes up with an app called Agricool. It's called Agricool. What it does, it links the agricultural young person with the investors. So if you have land, you take a photo of your land, and then you've planted cabbages or whatever, you take a photo of it, you plug it onto this app. The investors are looking for ideas, or looking for land, or looking for young people that have got some of those ideas in agriculture. Then the app actually links up the agriculturalist young person with the investors without having to meet the investor. So the investor can basically meet the person with using technology, you know. So that's, for us, it's quite cool as well, and it's something that will make young people have interest in agriculture.
Yeah, and this is being a step ahead in terms of the ushering in of the fourth industrial revolution as well. I mean, you explain it so eloquently, but on paper it looks good. But you're likely to get a lot of pushback. Detractors would say that this move to a green economy will cost the world's economy trillions by depressing economic growth. What's your response to that?
Oh, well, I might get into trouble by saying this, but I think it's big corporates that would basically suppress it. Remember, for every company or every cooperative, the bottom line is about making profits. Anything that threatens profit for them becomes a challenge, you know. But luckily enough, like for us, we've got corporate that have supported this initiative, and they believe that we must transition, you know. But there's been challenges, or there's been corporate that says we cannot move into this. You would make an example about Donald Trump. I mean, you would know him as a bottom line kind of person. He thinks of profit more than anything. But the sad thing for me is that in the long run, by 2030, 2050, we might see effects that might make the same corporates have a challenge to say they can no longer do business, because, you know what, climate change is a reality, global warming is a reality. So for us as young people is to say, let's not join, you know, them. Let's rather come up with new innovative ways of doing things and doing business.
Yeah, the worry, I guess, is for the blue-collar workers and how it will affect them as well. Look, one of the aims of this Indaba is finding solutions to environmental challenges the world faces. I mean, this is huge. The challenges are wide-ranging. The challenges are vast. We're talking about water supply. We're talking about greenhouse gas emissions that are warming the earth. We're talking about fish stocks. I mean, if you zoom in here in South Africa, what are some of the pressing environmental issues that needs attention?
I think one of them, you would see that recently we've just had a drought in KZN, a huge drought, you know. That's, people might not know, but that's one of the effects of global warming. You would see that the scarcity of water, we don't have enough water in the country, and there's need to be innovative ways of how then do we make sure that we preserve water. So those, I think, are most critical. And the last one is about skilling of the young people to prepare themselves for careers that are coming up with climate change. You know? So if young people,
what sort of careers?
So for example, you'd look at scientists that need to test these waters, that need to clean these waters. We need new ways of collecting water, preserving the water. And I think for me, what's critical is that then we need to skill young people to say, if we talk about recycling, because recycling for me has got stages, right? There's a stage where we need to create laptops out of plastic, or we need to be the manufacturers, because for now what we're doing is we sell these plastics and papers to China, and China then brings back the plastic and sells it back to us. But we need to be the ones that manufacture it. I mean, the blankets that we have are made out of the plastic that has been bought or have been sold by South Africans to China. By the time China brings it back, you don't even know that the suit we're wearing, the clothes we're wearing, are actually from plastics from South Africa. You know, so the question for us is that how do we skill young people, or how do we enhance their ideas to be able to be manufacturers of these products? Because to me, it was a shock to say the blankets I sleep with are made out of plastic, and this plastic has gone to China and then come back, and then I buy it. Why can I not? Same thing with diamonds, by the way. You know, that our diamonds are mined here, and then they go there, and then they come back. So I think for us, then that's why we're working with the likes of your EWCTAs, which then it's to say, how do we skill, and what skills do young people need to prepare themselves for the future of the green economy?
Let's talk about motivation. I'm listening to you, and it sounds so interesting in terms of getting into this field, but how do you obviate any doubt start from parents' minds. I mean, fair enough, you're getting a push from certain sectors to say, you know what, get into this sector, but it needs to start at home, isn't it?
Sure.
People, parents need to start motivating their kids in order to look at these various avenues available to their kids.
Okay, so I think that one is a tough one, because of course then we can't reach the parent, but I think the programs at school, we run schools programs as well, where we're trying then to inspire these young people to say, come up or think of innovative ways. You know, we run competitions in high schools all over the country, you know, but because the innovation can start when you are young, and entrepreneurship can start when you're young. So the parents, I think there are those that support. There's partners we've worked with in the past that high schools would come with innovative ideas to say that, for example, how do you convert water in the house, you know, keep it for longer. So there are some challenges that we face even with parents saying that, but will the kids find jobs? Are they really jobs? You know, but for us is to make them understand that it's not only that it's now that is happening, the climate change. It's a long-term thing. You know, there's an agenda 2030 that says that over 60 million jobs will be created by this green economy globally. You know, but you want to make sure that your child is prepared for these things, and you know, so that they don't just run out of jobs, because eventually, for me, I think personally, there's no longer jobs. You know, so we need to prepare our young people to say, how do they become job creators rather than just employers?
And it's practical jobs, isn't it? I mean, it's science. It's 1 + 2 = 3. You know, are you finding in our schools that teachers are pushing this as well?
I think science teachers are. You know, science teachers are quite aware. They're quite informed. Of course, in the urban areas, I mean, if you go to rural areas, they might not be as privileged as the ones in the suburbs. So our network seeks to go to rural areas as well. I mean, this year we've partnered up with Standard Bank and with EWCTA to try and figure out how do we take this information. Because for us, what's critical, step one is to say, let's create awareness. There's many young people that don't even know what we're talking about when we say green economy, when we say climate change. So therefore, we're taking it to the rural areas, we're taking it into the townships, as let's share information as step one. Step two, then, what are the opportunities that young people in those rural areas and in the townships can tap into, whether it's the careers, whether it's entrepreneurship, which we drive mostly the entrepreneurship leg, because we know that many young people are unemployed. Therefore, if you're sitting at home, we challenge you to say, look for problems in your communities, and out of those problems, can you be able to start a business, and then we support you.
So you're telling the youth that's sitting and watching us now that's IT plus entrepreneurship plus science equals money.
No, definitely. And dirt equals money.
Right.
You know, dirt equals money, because if you can convert trash into treasure, you can definitely make money. And we don't
give the
say
whole
that
new spin to dirty money, yeah?
Definitely. Oh no, yes, definitely. But again, I mean, it's about also looking around and seeing what could be converted. You know, there's guys that convert, wood. You know, without having to cut so many trees, wood that's already there, and they make chairs out of it. You know, there's guys that convert tires into, tables. You know, that's what we talk about when we talk about sustainable development. You know, so the question would be, what's available, and how can we make what's available or convert it into making money and into forming some form of business?
Yeah, does these ideas talk to something? I'm looking at one of the features of your endeavor is called Green Innovation Pitch 6.0.
Yeah. So basically the Green Innovators Pitch is one of our exciting program. When I was in Durban recently, we went to about 4 or 5 provinces with Mersita. We were basically trying to recruit these innovators. So we go out, we do a call out to young people to come up with innovative solutions, whether it's in agriculture, water, renewable energy. And it's quite exciting because when we do the pitch, we have over about 100 young people or 200 young people that apply to attend the pitch. So what we do is we do a pre-pitch where they pitch, and then if we feel the idea is strong enough, then they go to the next stage, which is the Indaba. So for example, this guy with the Agricool app in Durban, he was one of our Green Innovators pitch. He's been pre-selected now to come and pitch at the Indaba to a panel of judges. Also there's cash prizes, there's mentorship, there's training. So we don't only inspire young people to get into this space, but we also offer mentorship. We offer training with some of our partners. So because you know what, it's easy to say get into it, but if you cannot hold my hand, it's a different story. 100%. So we say to young people that we'll mentor you, we have mentors, we will train you, we will link you up with networks that can actually offer further assistance and money on top of it.
And for this Indaba, you get a lot of buy-in from the youth? What sort of numbers
definitely.
are we talking about?
I mean, we're sitting at over 700 young people now that have RSVP to come all over the country. You know, of course, we can't take over 800, so at some point we're going to be closing our RSVPs. But it's been exciting. I think even corporate has come on board. the likes of your Standard Bank, your likes of your Department of Environmental Affairs. Those are the people that have supported this initiative to say that, guys, we believe in this initiative. We believe that it's worth a while. So therefore, there's a lot of young people coming through, and they're quite excited. Coming as far, even outside the country as well. You know, Swaziland, Ghana, we've got a prince that's coming from Ghana, which has seen this on TV and said, guys, we don't have this in Ghana. If you guys have it in South Africa, I'm coming to make my contribution. So sometimes it might not be celebrated in our country. A man is without honor in his own home country. You know, so we have people, that international guests that are coming. They are also going to be sharing in terms of what are they doing in their countries and what can we do in our country to develop our young people further.
Just remind us about the dates and venue again.
So the date is the 18th and the 19th of June. It's going to be at the CSIR in Pretoria. The event starts at 8:30 to 5, and then we hope people that can, people if they want to attend, they can go to our website, www.greenyouthindaba.co.za, www.greenyouthindaba.co.za. It's free to attend, but it's definitely important that young people RSVP, because I know that we're going to be closing our RSVP soon.
Right. Thank you very much indeed for coming through.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's a great initiative, environment, youth, employment opportunities.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the luck.
Thank you so much.